Michael Flatley recalls being warned not to embarrass Irish dancing. Ireland is on a winning streak too, not in football, but at the Eurovision Song Contest. The annual event was being hosted in Dublin and Ireland, once again, took home the trophy. But it was the interval act that made the biggest impression, Riverdance, with a then unknown dancer, Michael Flatley. "My goodness, that night brings up a lot of memories," he tells BBC News. "It was a unique evening, it was very, very special. We have met to talk about 30 years since that performance, and the impact it had on his life and Irish dancing. Before that night, Irish dancing had been seen as very traditional, with strict rules about what was acceptable. One rule was that dancers should have a rigid upper body and keep their arms straight by their sides. A childhood dance teacher of Flatley's even tied his arms together with a belt, something he says made him determined to dance how he wanted to. So when he burst onto the stage, with his arms in the air, it was something people had never seen before. It was Irish dancing, but with influences of ballet, flamenco and Fred Astaire. Flatley, 65, choreographed the routine, but it could have been much different. "I don't think I've ever mentioned it before," he says, "but right before I went on stage, they came to me beside the stage and said, 'Please, we're getting calls from all the dance teachers. Please don't wave your arms around, you're going to make us look ridiculous in front of the world, so can we just ask you this time, whatever happens, can you keep your arms down?'" Flatley's instincts were right, as his performance with Jean Butler and dozens of other dancers eclipsed the rest of the night. The host's broadcaster RT immediately started receiving calls from viewers who wanted to buy a recording of the performance and book tickets to see them. The BBC broadcaster, Sir Terry Wogan, who was commentating for the UK, exclaimed, "Good grief." Small hairs rising on the back of every Irishman's neck. Riverdance had made Irish dancing cool. Dance steps created on construction sites. For Flatley, who had worked as a builder in the US, the reception was more than he could have imagined. "We nailed it, my dream," he recalls. "For years I was working on construction sites and digging foundations in Chicago. During those freezing cold winters, I was creating those steps, in my dance style, in my mind that whole time. That's what got me through the hard, laborious work." I asked if he told his friends on the building site that was what he was thinking about. "No. The big, muscly guys? Better not mention that I'm dreaming about dancing, probably not the right thing to do." He laughs. People may have been wowed by Riverdance at Eurovision, but Flatley says it was not easy growing up and wanting to dance. "I got bullied at school terribly, so I know what young lads go through, and it's trying, it's mentally difficult, it's stressful to have to walk into school and hope somebody doesn't say something negative to you." After Eurovision, Riverdance was quickly transformed into an arena tour. Several years later, Michael Flatley developed his own show, Lord of the Dance. Both have been globally successful. Riverdance says 30 million people have seen their show, while Lord of the Dance says 60 million have seen their performances. Flatley's legs were reportedly insured for £25 million by Lloyd's of London. He says he hopes his career has made it easier for boys who want to dance. "If you look at our dancers now in Lord of the Dance, the men are so powerfully built, they've taken it to a whole new level." One teacher in Odessa in Ukraine told the BBC her dancers have tried to keep practicing even when one school was bombed and others have no electricity because of blackouts. Irish dancers are also making an impact on Instagram and TikTok. The Gardiner brothers, Below, have more than 1 million followers, while Kydray have performed at the White House. Like Michael Flatley, they mix traditional and modern dance steps and often to perform to contemporary music.